YouTube, we're here with the Airbus A320 DX18 11RX 7-channel gear mods, flat mods, geared order mods, all that stuff. And the latest mod is, so far I've got the inboard, these would be leading edge slats, which is not the configuration that they would typically be on this plane, but they're still going to have a similar function. I think I've got too much going on right now. Pulls it down tight. Deployment, it's tied to the flaps, obviously. It's mechanically tied. Then I have my air braking oh crap moment here. But the thing is, honestly, I'm not sure how it's going to impact the flight performance yet, and I'm a little bit nervous, but who knows? No risk, no reward, right? It's made of fiberglass. This is what it is. It's just this sheeting stuff you buy at, you know, Home Depot or Menards or whatever, and it's made of fiberglass. Just a panel that we had from a project we did in our garden, actually. I kept racking my brain on what I could use for plastic, and I had all these, you know, garbage bottles and everything. Ended up just building, these are the long ones that are going to go out on the wing, and the two ones that are actually mounted to the plane now, they're actually taped on. I looked at a couple of different choices, some Dubrow hinges and different stuff, and the cool thing is it's got a little bit of back pressure to it, but it'll give a little bit if I'm going real fast. And by the way, this is smooth on the front. You can sort of see it shining through the light. I'm thinking about keeping them white. I'm not 100% sure yet on that yet, but pulls it down tight, looks good. Got a little more work to do on this linkage and everything, just to figure out which hole I need it in for deployment. I think it might be deploying too much right now, so I may end up having to go into that inside hole to reduce the amount of deployment. So keep watching, guys. This is going to be part one of the leading edge slats on the Airbus A320 by Supreme Hobbies. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Brian Phillips. Okay, YouTube, we're here with the Airbus A320 again, doing our active slats project today. Got the servo linkages all adjusted and designed so that there's a certain amount of springiness, so as I'm flying they will give some, whereas the flaps, you know, they're pretty stiff. Most control surfaces, even these ailerons here for instance, are going to have a little bit of play in them. And with the high and low pressure system on the wings, it's pretty much going to find its natural state here. DX18, been playing with this for a few weeks. Really happy with it so far. Not taking full advantage by any stretch. Okay. Full retraction. Let's get those gear out of the way. As you can see, I'll lay that thing down there. As you can see, they lay flush, which is important because that's where I got to pick up the plane from. I can't grab from the back, I can't grab from the front if these are deployed. It looks like I got a little bit of an adjustment here to do here. Basically, I'm gonna have to take and bend this linkage here. That's basically a 0.81 millimeter music wire, same as what I used for my flap wire, but in this case quite a bit more complex bend. And I just guess and check, guys. I mean, it's not like there's some rocket science involved here. Give you a real close-up shot of that. You can see I went into the lowest hole there. For whatever reason, this one here likes to chatter a lot. This one over here, not so much. Same thing you can see. But yeah, this is going to be I really hope a good modification. I mean, it's going to look sweet. I'm not worried about that. Still going to be able to do my full speed 565 trillion miles an hour speed. Anybody who has one of these Supreme-Hobbies Airbus 320s knows what I'm talking about. The difference is my wing is much wider or longer, depending on who you're talking to. And it's longer through most of the chord of the wing. It stops here, and then it's the width that it came factory. But you can see I added all this distance here. And in, you know, a real application, this flat mechanism would shoot out and down on rails, which would be contained within these canoes. But in my application, I'm just doing my flap deployment with a tip. And so I pretty much built in the gap. And that's part of the reason why I was so excited about doing these spoilers. Not because they're active, but because they help to keep that airfoil shape so that there's not a bunch of turbulence, potentially drag from this gap during normal flight. So guys, my next step is to take these long pieces that I've created a little earlier. You can see they've got kind of a bump on them, and smooth side up in this case. This is a fiberglass, like I don't know, it's like a wind ball. What is this stuff? But anyway, I showed you earlier on the last video, and it's basically used, we used it in a gardening project to make some planters out of. I think it's roofing material, semi-translucent. So if you were to shine light through them, they would probably shine right through. But either way, this one looks like this one goes over here, and it's going to mount just like the other one, and it's going to come down just like the other one. The only difference is I got to make it through this nacelle bracket. Not 100% sure how I'm going to do it yet, but I believe I'm going to be drilling a hole once I get my alignment figured out, and then this is going to move, and it's just going to slide through the hole. So it's going to be a pretty steep angle here, and then it's probably going to reach out. So I don't know how it's going to work, but I better get it right the first time, because I don't want to be putting multiple holes through this, because that is a structural piece on the plane. So anyway, this thing's going to suck down tight like that in full flap retraction, and then it's going to deploy something like this, somewhere between here and here for full deployment. Full retraction. It's going to be flat on the wing. You're not even going to know it's there, other than you can see the color. And I kind of wanted that. I kind of wanted to see the color. There's a lot of work for this crap to do this on a plane and just have the flying effect. I mean, I want to be able to see it too. Trouble is, out white, it blends in so good. I don't know. It may not be very visible. We'll give you another shot of it quick, guys. You can see relatively even throws. I have no idea if this is going to be as effective as I hope it is. And don't get me wrong, guys, everything else I've done is really scale. I know, for all practical purposes, this would slide out from the top of the wing, and it would be a true airfoil shape. But guys, model this size, there's only so much you can do. Signing out for step 2, Brian Phillips, Airbus A320, Supreme-Hobbies Slats, leading edge slats project. Can't wait to see it fly, guys. Keep watching. Got probably one more video tonight, and then we'll have a flight video in the next good weather. Hey YouTube. Step 3 of the Airbus A320 leading edge slat video here. Installation, modification. You can see this rod here. Goes out to, you can see a variety of different holes here. I've been trying different placements. Same thing over here. I mean, the holes are not a big deal. This side over here is the side I kind of did second. So, one thing I'm just now noticing is I'm getting a little bend in my control horn here. Gosh, this focus is not working so hot. I'm not 100% sure how that's all happening, but let's give you a shot of how it looks when it's working. Here we go. Here's your full deployment. Air brake. Air brake. Full retraction. Take off flaps here. Landing flaps. And as far as I'm concerned, I ended up taping this edge because I couldn't really get it to pull it. Yeah, a little paint came off here when I was pulling that tape off. You can see this side's taped down, and actually I don't really want to tape it down, but I think there was just enough of a twist in my fiberglass piece that I ended up having to tape it down. Otherwise it never really seemed to return when I would operate the flaps back. So I don't know, guys. Still not 100% sure on, you know, how much deployment. And here's the weird thing, guys, as you can see here, it doesn't seem to be bent now. I don't know, maybe I grabbed it or ran into something with it. You can see I just favored that middle hole. Just favored the middle hole here, and then went ahead and I took this hole here to actually run this control over, which runs the main wing, which is numbers, I think it's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then this one's 5. So in real life they'd be 5 pieces, but in real life they would slide out from the top of the wing. And this side, of course, is working just fine still. But this is kind of what I'm working off here, and different winglet, but it's an Airbus A320. You can see the sliding mechanism. Those actually protrude into the fuel tanks on all these, and they've had some issues with them over the past. They had an airplane ended up catching on fire. Everybody got off, luckily, but in China. But yeah, that's the way that's supposed to look. And honestly, with the size of this aircraft, I think this is going to be a pretty big impact. It might be too much of an impact, actually. Ah, dang it. Sorry, guys. Full deployment. You can see it. Well, doubles the thickness of the wing there. So I'm just not 100% sure. That's just a quick action. Guys, I think it's gonna work, but I tried a number of different ways to try to get this through. I even drilled some holes through the nacelle adapter, but I should have known better because there was no way I was gonna make that angle. And then I also tried using one of these kind of an extension. It's like a flexible thing, come off of one of my dead airplanes, the Clouds Fly. Oh, by the way, that's what happens when you use one of these. Anyway, sorry Orange, sorry Hobby King. That's what you get for having awesome customer service. Anyway, guys, keep watching. I'm gonna give you the final follow-up video here, hopefully a little later tonight or this morning now, and a flight video in the next couple of days. Keep watching. Hey YouTube, we're here with the Slats project on the Airbus A320. Takeoff deployment, landing deployment. Takeoff, regular, takeoff, landing. And by the way, the buzz, guys, watch this. Air brake setting, and then back. Basically the buzz is just, there's enough different stuff pulling on each other. Brake setting, and back. So I want to just show you, I'll show you the other side too here. Takeoff, landing, takeoff. Hold on a second, guys. Okay, here we go. Landing, air braking, back. Air braking, back. Take off. Full retraction. Braking. 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 And that's just from one touch of the button here. But it's actually gonna proportionally add to the spoiler positioning as well. So now I'm gonna just go ahead and pause this video and I'll flip the plane over so I can give you a good underside view of it. Okay, we're back. Got it flipped over. Hear that annoying buzz. It'll mostly go away. Do a little brake effect there. Just kind of relaxes the position where the servo is, because you see I'm pushing forward and I'm pulling back, and then from this linkage I'm also pushing back forward to reach out to the wing because I had to get around the nacelle mount. Really complex project for me. Can't speak for anybody else, but just a lot of moving parts that all have to work together to make this work. The one thing that does make me a little concerned about this part of the project so far is, you know, the keep it simple principle. Maybe not so much right now. There's a lot of systems on planes that are way more complicated than this. And I'll tell you what, the flaps made a gigantic improvement, so really hoping. And by the way, I ended up taping the end here. See, there's just very, very little deployment there. Well, that's because it's taped down. And then I just, even though I didn't have the same problem with this one, it wasn't quite as bad. It was still there. I went ahead and taped it, which is fine because, to be perfectly honest, it's not going to produce that much difference anyway. But it does look a whole lot better because it's always seated out at the end of the plane by the winglet there. So can't wait to see it go in the air, which I think we're going to get some weather for it. Show you with the gear up. And then you can get a shot of these gear door here real quick. I don't know if you guys may not realize, but the gear door aren't split like that always by default. I had to build that door, those extra doors, and I got a couple of strings in there that pull those down tight. And then back here I just did these mains have a simulated door cover, or a main gear door, so that it looks finished. Other than that, it's basically the flaps and the slats so far. Next up is lighting, guys. It's going to be a super complicated project. Be doing some wing inspection lights. It's going to shine out at the wing. I'm going to have some forward-facing lights right at the wing root here and here that are going to be shining along the front. I'm going to have some lighting for this beautiful area here on the tail. Both sides, of course. Hopefully and ultimately a white strobe and white solid. White strobe. Green or red, I can't ever get them straight. I was going to look at a drawing. The opposite of whatever was on the other side, green or red. And then white strobe. There'll be an anti-crash beacon. Don't know exactly where it's like. I think it's back here. And then there'll be an anti-crash beacon on the top. And then there'll be on this gear. Right back here, there's going to be a couple of lights. Probably actually right there. Right there. So it's going to be a cheater. And then there'll be a couple of lights. I haven't decided which spot I'm going to put them, but it's either going to be right there. or it's going to be on the front. But either way, those are going to come on when the gear come down. There'll be some landing lights for us, and then there'll be all the lighting for the actual airplane, which will be marking lights, and it's going to look so sweet, guys. This thing's going to be going through the air, and people are going to think it's real. So can't wait to show you all. Can't wait to see myself. Boy, that thing looks like it's at an angle from there. It's funny, these gear, they got quite a bit of play on them, but I might actually need to tighten that one a little bit. I'm glad I did that. This one's always got a lot of play because of the turnability. Anyway, guys, can't wait to see it. Keep tuning in for more. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This is a lot of work to do these videos. I'm sure you can appreciate it if you've ever done one. Thanks for watching.